Because again, understand what Tawheed means. Tawheed means that Allah is not just one in his that essence and his characteristics, what he said, asma, names and sifat. He's supposed to be, quote unquote, one person, even though Muslims don't use the term one person. He can quote 50,000 verses that says Allah is one, there's nothing like unto him. But the Quran contradicts itself because there are many things exactly like Allah. So let's begin with Ruh Allah. He just said Allah, there's nothing like unto him. The Quran says that's a lie. Why? Because the Spirit is exactly like Allah. Because the Quran says Allah breathes out the Spirit. So the Spirit is not part of creation. The Spirit can appear as a man. He can speak and be spoken to. And he creates and gives life. So I hope Yahya makes the mistake in saying that Ruh is Jibreel alayhi salam. I hope. So I'm going to wait for him to rebut me, because we're going to have fun with the Quran by the grace of Jesus Christ. But let me show you that the Spirit is not part of creation. Allah breathes out the Spirit. That means it comes out of him. Now, unless he believes that Allah has parts that are created, nothing that comes from Allah can be creation. Chapter 66, verse 12 of the Quran. Mary, Imran's daughter, who guarded her virginity. We breathe into her of our spirit. So the Spirit came out of Allah. Chapter 15. Verses 28 to 29. When thy Lord said to the angels, see, I am creating a mortal of a clay of mud molded. When I have shaped him and breathed my Spirit into him. Breathe my Spirit into him. Now, chapter 19, verses 16 and 21. Mentioned in the book Mary, when she withdrew from her people to an eastern place, and she took a veil apart from them. We sent unto her our Ruh. I hope he doesn't say it's the angel Jibreel. I hope, for his sake, I want to be merciful to him. Then we sent unto her our Spirit that presented himself to her a man without fault. So the Spirit appears as a man without fault, a perfect looking man. She said, I take refuge in the All-Merciful from thee. If thou fearest God. He said, I am but a messenger. I am Rasul of your Lord to give you, li'ahabba, I will give you a boy most pure. So according to the Quran, the Spirit comes to Mary, appears as a man, tells her, I'm going to give you a son. How? Well, that's where 66:12, Surah Al-Tahrim comes in. Allah then sent that Spirit, breathed the Spirit out of himself to enter Mary to cause her to get pregnant. So who created the life in Mary? The Ruh. The Ruh comes from what? Not creation, out of Allah as his breath. So the Spirit creates and gives life exactly like Allah. No wonder the Quran says Allah is the best of creators, but even then he's not the best of creators, because that means there are other creators, because the Spirit is equal to him in creating. Not only is the Spirit equal to Allah in creating, so is Jesus. And why do I say Jesus? Because according to the Quran, Jesus creates exactly like Allah does and like the Spirit does. In chapter 3, verse 49 of the Quran, as a messenger to the children of Israel, I have come to you with a sign from your Lord that I create for you, the verb, create for you, from clay, the form of a bird, then I blow into it and it becomes a bird, bi'ithni Allah, by Allah's permission. And I heal the blind and the lepers and give life to the dead by Allah's permission, bi'ithni Allah. And I'll explain what bi'ithni Allah means and what it doesn't mean. It's not quwwah. There's a difference between quwwah and just to say bi'ithni Allah. But let's put that aside. Notice how Jesus creates according to the Quran. He creates the same verb, Arabic verb, create, used of Allah, creating Adam from clay. Jesus creates from clay. Allah creates from clay. Allah breathes into the clay and that clay comes to life. Jesus breathes into the clay and that clay comes to life. Here, chapter 15, verses 27, 35 of the Quran. We created man from clay, from black molded loam. And when I breathed on my Spirit into him, kneel down and prostrate. And then later on it says, near 35, I will not bow to a mortal whom you created of dry clay, of black molded loam. So only Jesus in the Quran, among the prophets and messengers, creates like Allah from clay, breathes life into the clay and makes it a living being like Allah. And only Jesus in the Quran, among the messengers and the prophets, and Yahya can prove me wrong, no other prophet messenger gives life to the dead. In fact, giving life to the dead is only said of Allah. So now we have Allah, the Spirit, and Jesus. All of them are creators and they create equally the same way. And by the way, for Jesus to blow life into a clay object and make it alive, that means Jesus possesses the Spirit of Allah, the Ruh Allah of Allah. Why do I say that? Because how did Allah breathe life into Adam? He breathed his Spirit into Adam. He came to life. So what is Jesus breathing? His physical breath? No, he's breathing out the Ruh. But the Ruh belongs to Allah, but now it belongs to Jesus. So no, the Quran does not teach Tawheed. Since he's a Salafi, I know he believes this. You believe the Quran is Kalam Allah. And if it's Kalam Allah, that means it's uncreated. So here's my challenge to Yahya, which he's going to have to answer, because I'm not going to let him get away with it. If the Quran is kalam Allah, speech of Allah, one of his sifat, and kalam of Allah is not created, speech of Allah cannot be created. You said the Quran is uncreated. Now I'm going to ask him the question, and he's got to get ready to answer. Is the Quran Allah or it's not Allah? If he says the Quran is not Allah, you have two uncreated things that are not the same, so that destroys your tawheed. But if you say it's Allah, now you're in trouble, because if it's Allah, that means a part of Allah became a book, because the Quran is kitab, it's a book. So if it is Allah, Allah became a book. So when you touch your Quran, you're touching your Allah in physical form. There's no way around this, my brother, in humanity. He says he worships Allah and that Islam is the purest religion there is to mankind, and the worship of Allah is pure. No, he doesn't. He smooches a black stone. So I want Yahya to explain, how does kissing, smooching, smothering a black stone comport with Tawheed al-Ubudiyya, Tawheed al-Uluhiyya? Here, let me explain what I mean. Sa'ad bin Jubayr is reported to have said, I heard Ibn Abbas saying that Allah's messenger said, the stone must come on the day of resurrection. It will have two eyes to see with and a tongue to talk with, bearing witness for him who caressed it with truth. Okay, did you hear it? And this is Hassan. The black stone that Yahya is supposed to smooch and touch and cuddle and kiss like his prophet, it will come on the day of resurrection with two eyes, a tongue, and it will bear witness for those that touched it and smothered it. Oh Allah, forgive them. Oh Allah, I am the Shafi for... And this is Tawheed. Why did your prophet kiss a stone that came from the pagans, the kuffar? And why did your prophet say, if you kiss it, it will be your Shafi on the day of judgment? Don't deceive yourself, Yahya. Your religion is anything but Tawheed. It is shirk, it is polytheism, and it's a perversion of the truth of the Bible. And I'll give him the remaining time to interact with me. I got a lot more, but this is enough to begin with.
Okay. Regarding your question, is Quran Allah? Allah is not a book. Allah is the creator, and Allah's word is the Quran. So Allah, when He speak His word, He revealed a word which being collected after He revealed it to Prophet Muhammad, and it's being collected and it become a book as guidance to all mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator. He is the only creator, and when He say about something to be, it will be. Regarding Jesus, peace upon Him, Jesus, He said Himself, I can do nothing of myself, and all what He does is by permission of the one who create Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He was willing to create Jesus, He sent His angel Gabriel, which we call Ruh al-Qudus, and he came to Mary, and he told her, you will have a child. And she told him, nobody have touched me. And he told her, it's decree, and it's the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will have it. And then he blew on her garment, and she conceived by the will of God, not by any sexual intervention. And this is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create Adam, and He shaped him and fashioned him. And then He blew a spirit of him into Adam, as He blew a spirit into and He sent His spirit and His word be, and he come to be. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to create, He just said be, and it will be. And that's the way why we say that Jesus is the same as Adam and creation. God create Adam from clay, then He blow of His spirit into him, he become alive. And we all live by this spirit from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we receive by angel when we are God create us in the womb of our mother. Regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the authority to Jesus, and He teach him what to say and what to do, but it doesn't mean that he is equal with God. Regarding the black stone, I believe that the black stone is but a stone. We don't worship it. We kiss it as we honor this stone. As Adam, when he was sent out of paradise, he grabbed it and he used to wipe his tears with it. So as our forefather Abraham, he used it to put it in the corner of the house of Allah, and call people to circulate around and worship only one God, Allah. We Muslim, we glorify the stone as a stone, as from heaven. But I just would like to say something, that everything in this dunya and this life would be a witness in front of God about us, and God will ask even our skin to be witness against us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, time. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Be patient. We're going to get to Jesus in the Bible in the next section, because you misquoted John 5:19, and I'm going to turn it against you, because John 5:19 again proves the Quran is false, Muhammad is a false prophet, Allah is a false God. But I want everyone to hear what you said. You said Allah is not a book. The Quran is word of Allah. That means you ignored what I said, Yahya. So I'm going to go again, repeat it again slowly so you can get it. Since you just said Allah is not a book, that means you're saying the Quran is not Allah. It's the word of Allah. But you are a Salafi, and you belong to Ahl al-Sunnah wa Jama'at. Don't play games with me. As a Muslim, you believe the Quran is uncreated. It's not created. That means the Quran is eternal. But you just said, everyone heard you, Allah did not become a book. That means Allah is not the same as the Quran, because the Quran did become a book. It became a kitab. So now if the Quran is not Allah and the Quran is not created, you destroyed Tawheed. Thank you, Yahya. But then you said that it was gathered and it was compiled. I guess you forgot what chapter 43 of the Quran, verses 3 and 4 say, that your Quran is in al-Kitab, mother of the book. So yes, the earthly Quran was gathered, compiled by men, but there is the mother of the book that's with Allah. It says it's in the mother of the book with us. So now, Yahya, you have a problem. If the Quran is in the mother of the book, that is the mother of the book. But Allah said, how can he have a child without a girlfriend or offspring? So then how can the Quran have a mother if the mother doesn't have a husband and the Quran doesn't have a father? So according to the logic of your Quran, Allah is the daddy of the Quran, and the mommy of the Quran is the wife of Allah. Allahu Akbar. The second mistake you made, you just said that Jibreel is the Ruh. I said, I hope you don't make that mistake. You made the mistake, so I think you like to get punished. I'm going to challenge you in front of everyone. Quote one verse in the entire Quran that says Gabriel is Ruh al-Qudus. But let's go with it. Let's say you're right. You just told everyone, they heard you. Jibreel, he's the one who caused Mary to get pregnant, and the angel breathes our spirit by which we live. You just committed shirk, ya akhi, my brother in humanity, because you just admit that Jibreel and this other angel, whoever it is that gives us the spirit, they're the ones who create our life in the womb, bi'ithni Allah. So now that means Allah has many partners. He's not alone, because the malaika, the angels, can create like Allah. But I thought you're trying to prove Tawheed, not destroy Tawheed. Don't help me to destroy your Tawheed. Defend it. So guys, here, Gabriel gives life, he creates. The angel that gave us our spirit, they give life, they create, because they're the ones who give us the spirit by which we live. And according to him, bi'ithni Allah, because Allah wanted this to be so. And then guys, pay attention to what's even more hilarious. He says we glorify the stone. Astaghfirullah, ya mushrik, you idolater. You just said, everyone heard you, we glorify the stone, even though it is only a stone, but we glorify it. And then, I don't know if you're ignorant or you're lying. I'm going to be charitable and say you're ignorant. You don't know your Quran. You said Adam grabbed it and wiped his tears with it. I'm going to challenge you in front of everyone. Quote the ayah in the Quran that says Adam grabbed it and he wiped his tears with it. Quote the ayah in the Quran that says Ibrahim is the one who established the black stone. Quote the ayah in the Quran that says that Ibrahim went to Mecca. Don't give me Bakka. Bakka is not Mecca. Don't make that mistake. See, I'm already helping you not to embarrass yourself. Don't go to chapter 3 of the Quran, verse 96, and say Bakka is Mecca. Nowhere in the Quran does it say Bakka is Mecca. So I'm going to challenge you from your book. Show me Ibrahim and Ishmael were in Mecca. They built the Kaaba and placed the black stone. And if you go to the hadith, it's going to be more embarrassing for you. So let's come back again. You admit the Quran is not Allah, but the Quran is uncreated. That's two. That's not one. That's not Tawheed. You admit that Jibreel, who's the Ruh, he's the one who created life in Mary's womb. Now you have another entity besides the Quran that's equal to Allah, like Allah. He's the creator. Then you said, we glorify the stone, even though it's a stone. Then you said, my skin will testify. I can understand your body testifying against you, but why a stone when the stones were venerated by the pagans, the kuffar, and they used the same argument your prophet used. They told your prophet, oh, we only worship them to bring us closer to Allah so they can be intercessors. Muhammad said, no, Allah condemns you. But then he makes the stupid mistake of saying, oh, but this stone, you venerate it, and it will bring you closer to Allah, and it will be your shafi. So your prophet sounds exactly the same like the pagans. He's no better than the pagans. In fact, in many places, he's much worse than them. So Yahya, I don't know why you don't understand the problem you have. If the Quran is not created, it is one of the sifat of Allah, the kalam of Allah, one of the attributes, the word speech of Allah. That means the Quran, if it's uncreated and it's not Allah, now you add another uncreated thing to your Islam. So let's count. Allah, His Spirit, Quran, that's three. So Allah is not one. He's not unique. Because the Quran is uncreated like Allah, even though it's not Allah. The Spirit is uncreated like Allah, even though it's not Allah. And the Spirit gives life like Allah, even though it's not Allah. Creates like Allah, even though it's not Allah. So that's three. Yeah, count. Three, but you added the fourth. You said that the angels are created, but Allah sends them and gives them permission to give us our spirit, to breathe the Spirit into us. So now you have a group of created angels that are being permitted by Allah to create like Allah and give life to Allah. That means Allah, according to you, is a mushrik. He committed shirk. I don't know if you understand, because what is shirk? When you ascribe a creature with Allah in His worship, in His lordship, or in His attributes. You just attributed angels to Allah in Allah's attributes, because if they create and give life, that means they are sharing in Allah's asma wa sifat, because one of the names of Allah is Al-Khaliq, the creator. But then you just said angels with the permission of Allah create. So the Al-Khaliq is creating angels to create like Him, committing shirk. So now how many is that? Allah, the Spirit, the Quran, and numerous angels. My goodness, it's not three, it's not four, it's probably millions. God only knows how many angels there are. You have millions of entities that are not the same, that are like Allah and do what Allah does. Some are created, others are not. Yeah, you are a mushrik. Give it up. Your deen is not from God. It is a satanic deception. Come to Jesus, your true God and Savior, and Muhammad's judge. Give it up, Yahya. You're losing because you can't defend falsehood. The truth of Jesus will always triumph.